Don't let people tell you that the only way you can get a long-lasting fragrance is to either buy a niche fragrance or to just spend a lot of money, which I guess could be a niche fragrance, but that could also be a high-end designer scent. That's not entirely true. While it is true that in a lot of situations when you do move over to niche fragrances, a lot of them tend to perform better, and even in some instances when you move up to higher end designer fragrances, they also tend to perform better. That's not always true. I can think of a few niche and high-end designer fragrances off the top of my head that don't have good performance. So that can be a misleading statement that can get people into some financial trouble. Today we've got 10 fragrances that are cheap, right? And for this I was looking at $35 and under. And also, these have really, really good performance. They will last on your skin. These are not, a 3, 4, 5 hour fragrance like most in this price range. These do really well. Some of these maybe do better than some higher end, $80, $90, $100 designer fragrances, and that's the truth. Now, sometimes it can be a little bit of a diamond in the rough to discover these. It can be tough. I have a lot of cheap fragrances, some that are even a little bit more expensive than these that have terrible performance, so you really have to do some digging, but I've got 10 of them here that just work really well. Not only are they affordable, not only are they good performers, they also smell good, and that's also a requirement. These are going to be easy to pull off. They're going to be well liked by people around you. These they work really well. I will link all of these down below to discounters. Obviously here when I'm referencing prices, it's not retail, so the only way to get these at a cheap price is to shop through discounters. So I will link them up down below. You can hit those links. They'll take you to basically all the prices that I'm referencing here. And also I will put the FragranceNet 35% off link down below as well. Clicking that will automatically apply the current up-to-date 35% off code because that's always changing. Who wants to get into some cheap fragrances? I know I do. Let's just roll right into it. And we're going to start off right here with AJMAL KURO. So I featured this one a couple times on the channel. It's got ambroxan, lavender, black pepper. That note breakdown may sound familiar right off the bat. You probably are thinking of a certain particular fragrance or couple of fragrances, and I would most likely say that yes, you're right. This one does smell like Dior Sauvage at a quarter of the price. There are a lot of Sauvage clones, alternatives, inspirations, whatever you want to call it, out there on the market. There are some that are a little bit more expensive, but still not as expensive of Sauvage, kind of like Prada Luna Rosa Carbon. That one, though, really doesn't have like the greatest performance ever, and it's also not really cheap either. $50, $60, sometimes a bit more, especially lately. And so when it comes to an affordable Sauvage fragrance that also has really good longevity, performance, that's where this one comes in. And also the quality, the presentation, all things considered, isn't bad at all, especially at this price point. You may be a little bit skeptical, you may be a little bit curious too, when you place an order on this one. But let me tell you, that opening, that's great. That is smooth. It's a little bit sweet. It's almost like a hybrid between Sauvage EDT and EDP. So it's not quite as metallic and sharp as the EDT. It's not quite as smooth as the EDP. It's kind of right in the middle. Now the bottle is nothing to write home about. It's very flat looking, very rectangular. The cap, it clicks into place, but it's not, we're not winning awards here. The atomizer is decent, but all around, for the price, I think this is a really, really solid pickup here, and it performs great. So this next one has a whole saga behind it, and this is PACO Rabanne Ultra Red. Blood orange, praline, and vanilla. There's also tonka bean, I believe patchouli. So yes, you are seeing this right, you are reading this right, you are hearing this right. Cheap, affordable at this time. At one point that was not the case, in fact quite the opposite. You probably saw all of the hype, all of the videos surrounding this one in terms of it coming back in stock, and people bought it up really quick and then it went out of stock, and there was prices on eBay were crazy, all of that stuff. But at this time, right now, if you hit the link down below, FragranceNet has it $35 for a 100 ml tester, I believe $40 for full presentation. These do not have caps, so the only difference is going to be the box. It'll come in a plain white box for a tester. For me, I'll save my $5 and get that. So this one's very sweet, a little bit citrusy, kind of from that blood orange, a little bit fruity, I guess, too. But the other main reason why this one got hyped up so much is because it smells similar to Ultra Zest. And so when you look at Ultra Zest on eBay, that one is, I think, like $300+ or something absurd, maybe even more. It is very, very rare nowadays. And when that one was in stock and easy to get, it was hyped up pretty good. So you can imagine this one going crazy. And I gotta say, it smells fantastic. Creamy, smooth, sweet, but a little bit of a zesty freshness. It would be a really nice summer date night scent, a summer party scent. You could even wear it in wintertime as well. Very versatile stuff. The quality also at this price point is really respectable. It's cheaper than most other PACO Rabannes, something to keep in mind. When you look at the 1 millions and the Invictus fragrances and everything else, they're up over 50 most times. So the fact that you can get this one for about 35 at this time is really good. I don't know what's up with this. I really don't. I haven't looked into it all that much. So my advice would be, if you missed out on that initial round of getting this one, it's super easy to get right now. The price is not outrageous at all. I would get one while you can, maybe grab a couple for yourself, because who knows what's going to happen. Performance is great, quality is great. It's a really nice fragrance at a low price, at least for now. Next up, we have JOOP Homme Wild. So this one comes in at about $35. It's got rum, pink pepper, white tobacco, woody notes. One that is not in danger, so no worries about this one. It's been out since 2012, and it's been going pretty strong, at least in terms of not being discontinued yet. So that's good. I'm glad this one's hanging in there, because it really doesn't get all that much hype in the community. Maybe it does well outside of it, but you know, I hope they don't cut this one off, because I think, all things considered, this is really impressive. It opens up with that rum note, boozy, sweet. It has this like red fruitiness. So it's like a spiciness, red fruitiness. It reminds me a little bit of a similar accord in Spice Bomb Infrared, the newest one. It has that red fruit note or accord going on there with the spiciness. And it kind of just reminds me a little bit of this one. Very, very sweet. Definitely not for everybody. If you're into the woody, masculine, mature fragrances, stay far away from this one, because it is not that at all. It's one that would pose a bit of a challenge for some people, given the syrupy sweetness that this one has. I've kind of almost put it in the same camp of Jean Paul Gaultier Ultra Male in terms of how strong and sweet it is. So if you're a fan of Ultra Male, you like that level of sweetness, and you want kind of something else that's much, much cheaper, and something you can wear on, and when you just want something different than Ultra Male, I would check this one out. Now, I'm not comparing the two scent-wise, more so just the category that they fit in here. But if you do like that one, if you like, I don't know, 1 Million Lucky, just a lot of the more popular sweet men's fragrances, I would give this one a shot. It's at a really nice price point. $35 is killer for this one. Performance is great. This stuff is really well done, and not a lot of people are really talking about it or wearing it for that matter, so you will stand out. Let's go over to the aquatic side. We have AZZARO Chrome Extreme. C notes, orange, and cashmeran. So this one gets compared a little bit to Acqua di Gio Profondo. So I do get that comparison quite a bit. Now this one came out, I believe, in 2020, right? So didn't Acqua di Gio Profondo also come out in 2020? Or maybe I'm wrong. Actually, let me look it up. So yeah, they did both come out in 2020 there. I kind of thought that's how it was. So it's always interesting to see that happen. It's almost, in a way, kind of like a different mod of Acqua di Gio Profondo. So it's like, you know, when you get a fragrance, when you have a fragrance created rather, and you're going through the creative process, a lot of people may know this, a lot of people may not, but you kind of tell them, hey, this is what I want. You put that in your brief. The perfumers work off of that, and they send you a whole bunch of submissions. And from there, you can go through, narrow them down, pick your favorites. And sometimes there will be, you know, 3, 4, 5, and if you keep revising, 10, 15, 20 or more different mods of kind of the same fragrance, just little tweaks here and there. That's almost like what this is. It's not as high of quality, so you can tell that there just isn't the same impact in terms of the ingredients here with this one, which makes sense given the price point and being that it's just an AZZARO chrome flanker. It doesn't quite have the minerals type of smell, the photorealistic ocean rock smell like Profondo. So there are differences here. They're definitely not like super close, but similar. Within the same camp, within the same conversation for sure. Now what's nice is this one is around in the $30 range, I believe maybe upper mid 30s, somewhere around in there, and it performs really good. It's an eau de parfum, it gets the job done. The quality, while it's not as good as Profondo, I don't want you to think that this one all of a sudden has terrible quality. For the price, it is solid all around. For the price, this one is really good, and I do encourage you to give it a shot for summertime. Next up, we have MONTBLANC EMBLEM ABSOLU. Pear, fruity notes, and honey are just a few of the notes. There's many more going on. Essentially, this one is a fruity sweet, kind of a men's fragrance, basically. Yeah, that really tells you a lot. When you smell this one, you will kind of draw some similarities to not necessarily anything in particular, but more so just kind of a trendier style of men's fragrance, being the sweet fruity stuff. And you do get a lot of that fruitiness. That pear up top smells phenomenal. I'm a big fan of that note. I do think it's maybe a little bit underutilized in the men's fragrance category here. Of course, Ultra Male, name dropping that one again, uses pear heavily up top, and it smells great. I do think that that note, when really balanced out well, can set a fragrance off and just make it smell different, and that's kind of what's going on here. Another one that's very sweet, but you will find, and you kind of are seeing the trend here, with a good amount of these, an overwhelming amount, that super loud, syrupy sweetness helps them to stick around. Of course, we have some oddballs like Chrome Extreme and maybe one or two other fresh ones here that will be different, but a lot of times these super heavy sweet fragrances will benefit and have good performance. From one to another, Halloween MANX. We just keep them rolling, right? $39, I believe, is where it's at right now. Last time I looked, so it's at the upper end of our budget, but if you can stretch just a little bit and get this one, I promise you, you will not be disappointed in that decision. It's got coffee, it's got whiskey, tonka bean, it smells fantastic. This one is a huge hype monster. It's kind of calmed down a little bit now, at least from what I've seen, but there at one point, I mean, it was just one after the other, all sorts of videos, and mine included, of course. I was featuring this one a lot as well, and it's just because it's hard not to. It's a fragrance that checks off all of the boxes, from affordability to quality to uniqueness and to performance. It just does it all. Also, I like to point this out when I can. You can see that pretty little sticker says tester, and you can see on top cap. So these do come with caps if you go the route of getting a tester. And I don't believe FragranceNet has testers in stock right now. I do think it's just full presentation, but just something to be aware of in the future. It's a little bit playful, it's sweet, it's another one that, you know, is going to be probably appealing more to the younger crowd, but not necessarily. If you are someone who's a bit older and you like sweet fragrances like this, you want a little bit of a bright whiskey note, some sweetness, nice roasted coffee note, give this one a shot. It's really nice. Next up, a fragrance that has been around the block. This one has been in my collection for a very long time because I got it when it was about $20. That was the going rate, $20 even for 100 ml. Nowadays, I think I've seen it up closer to the $30 mark. Now, this is not uncommon. I mean, the prices on everything are going up these days. That's just how it is, and that's going to transfer over to discounters as well. So at one point, while this was a $20 scent and some other things were, prices are just kind of slowly going up. Maybe they'll come back down once all of the craziness goes away, but that's kind of where it is. And I also want to say that $30 for this is not unreasonable at all. In fact, that is still a steal in my opinion, and you'll recognize it as soon as I hold it up. That's F Black by Ferragamo. You know, this brand here, they have a really strong hold on the affordable fragrance market. You go through and look at a lot of cheaper fragrances and see where they rank. A lot of them are going to be Ferragamo. This one's got lavender, pepper, really all you need to know. It's masculine, it's upscale, it's spicy, but it's also clean. This one, when I smell it, here's what comes to mind. I think of a guy in his, it really doesn't matter what age, just a well-dressed guy in a suit and tie in wintertime, walking down the streets of Chicago, Maybe it's snowing a little bit, just spitting snow. It's not like a blizzard or a winter storm or anything, but you know, maybe it's kind of early on in wintertime, starting to get some flurries, that sort of thing. He's got maybe a scarf on. He's walking to his, you know, nice job in the city. Successful guy. That's really what this one smells like. It's confident, it's demanding, it's powerful, it's got great performance, it has great presence overall. When you wear this one, people will notice you. And again, at the price that this one comes in at, pushing $30 nowadays, it's still an absolute steal. And I just love the smell of it. Some people say that it kind of has a baby powder smell. I think that's a bit of a stretch. I've never smelled baby powder that is this rugged and spicy and strong. Maybe it's out there, but to me, it is really, really a great no-brainer pickup. Running down to the end, Lacoste L'Homme Intense. I thought I picked up the wrong bottle. Somehow I thought that said Lacoste L'Homme Timeless, but that bottle is not painted. So yeah, Lacoste L'Homme Intense. Rhubarb, ginger, and lemon are just a couple of the notes. There's many more. But this one is, if you smell Lacoste L'Homme, it's actually a true intense flanker to that one. So I love when brands do it this way, where when they release an intense or an EDP or whatever, it truly is a stronger version of that original instead of being something completely different. Because we do have that. That does happen often, and it can be very confusing. But in this instance here, if you're original, but in this instance here, if you are familiar with the original, you'll like this one. It's just a stronger, richer, heartier version of the original Lacoste L'Homme. And one thing that I do have to point out, and that I just kind of noticed, is this is still Eau de Toilette, even though it's an intense. But don't worry, it still is a good performer, stronger than the original there. A little bit more impactful, a little bit more going on. If you had to choose between the two, and you are only going to buy one, I would probably tell you to go with the intense. However, I would also say if you can get both, that's the way to go, because I like to wear the original on maybe warmer spring, early summer days, and I wear the intense on days where it's a bit cooler. That's just my preference. I like the added creaminess and the oranginess of the original when it's warm outside, but they both work great. Great performer, great unique scent. It's one that does get a little bit of talk here and there, but not nearly enough. Second to last fragrance, we have DUNHILL Century Blue in this really cool looking bottle here. This one is an eau de parfum, which is neat. They went straight to it. This cap is magnetic. Just very flat cap, very strange, but it is. Also, you guys will probably appreciate this as well. And if we can get some sprays, whatever I'm trying to say. Atomizer's good. Here you go. Iris, Ambrox, and Orange. It's DUNHILL's take on a blue fragrance, but with a different twist, being that it has iris. It's not all about ambroxan and pepper and strong, brutal notes. There's a smoothness, a creaminess, actually a floral touch as well, not just from the iris, but just from some like white florals in here. It's musky, it's clean, it's a gentleman's scent. And really, I should say it's a gentleman's blue fragrance, because it is. When you smell Sauvage, EDT, even when you smell like Aqua Atlantique, maybe even Dylan Blue, you may not think of a gentleman right off the bat. Those are on the more playful and youthful side for sure. But when you smell this one, it does kind of give off that smell. And by that smell, I mean a gentleman's smell, not a Sauvage Dylan Blue smell. And last up, a brutal fragrance, one that is very strong. Not for everybody. So instead of being not for everyone in terms of being super sweet like we've covered here, this is for the guys who want the woody, masculine, strong, no holds barred fragrance, okay? This is ENCRE Noir à l'Extrême by Lalique. This is also a tester engraved into the glass right there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it is, and they do come with the cap. Cypress, vetiver, and incense, smoky, woody, strong, dry, very masculine. I mean, this stuff, it's only like $30, and it's mind-blowing that you can get it for this price. It's also mind-blowing that it's coming from a designer brand, especially Lalique of all brands. I don't know, it's just they did very well with this stuff. Same with the original, same with Sport. All of these ENCRE Noirs are something else here. No joke, strong performance, great quality, very masculine, not for everybody, but it had to be in this video. That stuff is crazy. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. That is 10 super cheap fragrances that also have incredible performance. If If you're on a budget and you want good performance, this is all you need to know. Remember, these will all be linked up down below as well, so you can pick them up for yourself at a discount along with the fragrance at 35% off link. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.